Bottlenose dolphins are found in the Atlantic Ocean, the Pacific Ocean, and the Indian Ocean, in open oceanic waters, coastal surface waters, and temperate inshore waters. There are 600,000 individuals, and they live in pods with typical sizes of 10 to 100 members. In Sarasota Bay, Florida, researchers led by Dr. Randy Welsh of the Mote Marine Lab have studied the resident community of 100 bottlenose dolphins since 1970. Here, researchers have found that females have a large network of associates, but associate most strongly with a group of females called a band. These bands form the core of the Sarasota Bay community. Males, on the other hand, often form very strong associations with another adult male. These male pairs can endure for many years. In Shark Bay, Australia, a research team including Dr. Rachel Smolker, Dr. Richard Connor, Dr. Janet Mann, and Dr. Vincent Janik have studied the resident population of over 400 individually identified bottlenose dolphins since 1984. They have found similar associations between females in Shark Bay as those found in Sarasota Bay. Shark Bay males also form strong associations with one or two other males, and these males engage in herding behaviors towards female dolphins. Interestingly, these male coalitions can also band together to form larger coalitions, called alliances, to capture females from other coalitions or defend their females from competitors. These alliances are temporary, and allegiances can switch in a matter of hours. Participants in the long-term Sarasota-based study of bottlenose dolphins have identified 4 types of social units: a mother-calf pair, groups of subadults of either gender, adult females with their calves, and adult males. In this society, dubbed the Fission Fusion Society, there is considerable movement of individual animals, and the way they interact is determined largely by the breeding biology of the different units. Dolphins tend to be very social animals, swimming in social groupings called pods. These groups, however, are very flexible and fluid, not at all like the social unit we refer to as a family. Dr. Deborah Duffield has determined by observing pods of wild bottlenose dolphins that the majority of pod members are not closely related. They seem to be in a periodic state of flux. An individual dolphin traveling with one group may be swimming miles away with another by the next day. A more stable subgroup of 2 to 6 dolphins may remain together over long periods. Mothers and their calves have been observed together for at least 3 to 6 years, and unrelated adults often form long-term bonds, usually within the same gender and age group. Separated by age and gender is common. Breeding groups are often composed of mothers and their calves. As the youngsters begin to mature, they may branch off into a juvenile pod. Mature males will rarely be seen mixing with a maternity pod or a juvenile pod. The fluidity of the groups, however, allows increased opportunities for mating, enabling males to court a wider variety of females. During feeding, smaller pods may interact and join into larger groups. Bottlenose dolphins also have been observed swimming and feeding with other cetaceans such as sperm whales, gray whales, humpback dolphins, and right whales. Inshore groups tend to be smaller, with an average size of 10, while offshore animals can contain groupings of hundreds of individuals. The size of the group may depend partially on the need for surveillance against predators, as well as the quantity and distribution of available food. Dolphins seem to acknowledge a hierarchy within each pod. Status may be expressed by positioning, formation of subgroups within the pod, or by feeding order. Behaviors such as teeth raking, tail slapping, jaw popping, biting, or ramming may also express dominance. However, their play behavior may also serve functions of communication, food herding, or defense. Mothers begin to play with their calves early in their development. Perhaps these sessions teach behaviors that will be important throughout their lives. Dolphins are very tactile creatures and seem to express affection through such varied behaviors as raking each other with their teeth or gentle stroking. Legends of dolphins rescuing men lost at sea have existed throughout the ages. Although some may have been stretched out of proportion or completely manufactured, dolphins have been known to be friendly to humans in their environment. Bottlenose dolphins also seem to evidence selfless behavior towards other members of their pod. They often work cooperatively in groups to feed. Males may assist each other in obtaining a mate, and pod mates will often support an injured dolphin at the surface so that it can breathe. Entire pods will put themselves in jeopardy to come to the aid of a mother and her calf. One theory explaining why individual dolphins do not remove themselves from a dangerous area around a fishing net is that they will not leave their comrades who are entangled or injured. It is generally believed that all marine mammals evolved from land-based ancestors around 50 to 60 million years ago. Of all the marine mammals, the dolphins are among those most adapted to an aquatic way of life. All cetaceans were well diversified around 50 million years ago, and it is widely accepted in scientific circles that both the baleen and toothed whales share a common ancestor now extinct. The closest living relatives of dolphins today are the even-toed ungulates such as camels and cows, with the humble hippopotamus being the closest living relative. The origin of the bottlenose dolphin is the artiodactyl. Bottlenose dolphins belong to the kingdom Animalia, and their scientific name is Tursiops truncatus. Nasal openings move from the end of the snout to the top of the skull area as an adaptation to help them. This is what is referred to as a nasal drift. Those nostrils later evolved into blowholes so that they can get to the surface of the water, take in air, and then be submerged again with ease. The movement of the ears closer to the eyes is also part of the evolution process. To prevent drowning while sleeping, only half the dolphin's brain goes to sleep, while the other half remains awake so they can continue to breathe.